Join me as I journey deep into the heart of China's Yunnan province, a region known for its breathtaking landscapes, but also for its deadly vulnerability to natural disasters. This time, we're not here for the scenery. Instead, we're here to understand the full extent of the devastation caused by recent, catastrophic mudslides and the incredible resilience of the people left to pick up the pieces. Yunnan, nestled in China's mountainous southwest, has long been on the edge of nature's fury. Towering peaks, steep slopes, and a rainy climate create the perfect conditions for landslides and mud flows. But this most recent disaster has pushed an already fragile environment and its people past the brink. The force of nature. Unleashed actual footage captured during the disaster reveals a haunting sight. Entire hillsides collapsing under the weight of water-soaked earth, homes crumbling in an instant, and rivers of mud engulfing entire communities. Whole neighborhoods vanished in minutes. Roads were severed, bridges snapped like twigs, trees and boulders were flung around like toys. And while satellite images and aerial shots show the physical damage from above, it's the stories from the ground that reveal the true scale of the tragedy. Life turned upside down. Families now find themselves displaced, many having lost everything they own. Some have taken refuge in temporary shelters, hastily set up by emergency crews and aid organizations. These relief camps offer basic protection, but for the families inside, the uncertainty about what comes next is overwhelming. One mother shared her terrifying experience of escaping the mudslide with her 2 young children just moments before their house was swallowed by earth. Her voice trembled as she described the roaring sound that accompanied the mud's approach, a deep, monstrous growl that still echoes in her mind. For thousands of others, there was no warning. Search and rescue teams continue to sift through the debris, racing against time, hoping to find survivors. But their efforts are hampered by blocked roads, washed-out paths, and dangerous terrain. Why Yunnan is so vulnerable. To understand why mudslides like this occur, and why they're becoming more frequent, we need to look at the bigger picture. Yunnan's natural geography already makes it one of China's most landslide-prone regions. The province is crisscrossed by mountains, plateaus, and deep valleys. Add to that the heavy monsoon rains that strike every year, and you've got a dangerous cocktail for disaster. But it's not just about rain. Over the past 2 decades, deforestation has dramatically changed Yunnan's landscape. As trees are cut down to make way for agriculture, urban development, and mining, the earth loses its natural grip. Without the root systems to hold it in place, soil becomes unstable, especially during heavy rains. In some areas, slopes have become so barren that even moderate rainfall can trigger massive landslides. Experts warn that it's not a matter of if, but when. The next disaster will strike unless urgent action is taken. A history of landslides, and a warning for the future. This isn't the first time Yunnan has been struck by such a disaster, and tragically, it likely won't be the last. The region has experienced dozens of fatal landslides over the past 15 years, some of which wiped out entire villages. As climate change brings more extreme weather patterns, including unusually heavy rainfall over shorter periods, the risk grows even greater. Statistically, Yunnan has seen a sharp increase in landslide incidents over the past 5 years. Rainfall in some areas has doubled compared to historical averages. Scientists are now studying the region intensively, using drone surveys and satellite data to identify at-risk zones. Impact on infrastructure and daily life. In the aftermath of the disaster, large swathes of infrastructure have been rendered unusable. Roads have disappeared under thick layers of mud and rock. Power lines are down. Water supplies are cut off. Schools and hospitals have suffered serious damage, further complicating the emergency response. The government has deployed troops and engineering teams to help clear debris and restore essential services. but progress is slow. In some remote mountain communities, aid workers are hiking for hours, sometimes even days, to reach those in need. There is also an economic toll. Many of the affected families rely on farming for their livelihoods. Crops have been buried, and arable land has been damaged beyond repair. For these residents, rebuilding isn't just about homes, it's about restoring a way of life. The global significance of local disasters. So why should this matter to those of us watching from Europe? Natural disasters like this are not just local tragedies. They are part of a global trend, one that reflects how interconnected we all are in the face of environmental breakdown. As deforestation accelerates and climate change intensifies, disasters like this one are becoming more common across the globe, from Italy's Dolomites to the Swiss Alps, from the Norwegian fjords to the French Pyrenees. In fact, experts in Europe are increasingly concerned about similar risks here. In 2023, heavy rains in the Austrian Alps triggered flash floods and landslides that damaged dozens of villages. In southern France, intense summer storms have led to recurring mudflows in rural areas. What we see in Yunnan today could very well happen closer to home tomorrow. That's why it's important for us to pay attention, not just out of empathy, but out of shared concern for our collective future. A humanitarian crisis in the making. At its core, this is a human story, one of loss, fear, survival, and extraordinary resilience. In many of the shelters, local volunteers have stepped up to help distribute food and comfort grieving families. Children, still shaken by what they've witnessed, play quietly in corners with makeshift toys. Teachers try to resume lessons under tents, using whatever materials they can find. Mental health experts have warned of the long-term psychological toll such disasters can leave behind. Many survivors are experiencing signs of trauma, including anxiety, nightmares, and depression. Support systems are limited, especially in rural parts of Yunnan. What can be done? While natural disasters can't be prevented entirely, their impact can be significantly reduced with the right planning and investment. Reforestation efforts are one key solution. Trees help to stabilize slopes, absorb rainfall, and reduce erosion. Strengthening early warning systems is another crucial step. Giving communities enough time to evacuate can save lives. And perhaps most importantly, better urban planning is needed to prevent construction in high-risk areas. The Chinese government has pledged to invest in long-term mitigation efforts, including afforestation programs and community awareness campaigns. But progress must be sustained and transparent. International cooperation can also play a role. Europe has vast experience in disaster response, environmental management, and sustainable land use. There are opportunities for collaboration, from sharing best practices to funding regional studies and response programs. Stories of survival and hope. Amidst the chaos, some stories offer hope. One elderly couple recounted how their neighbors rushed to pull them out of their collapsing home, risking their own lives to help. Another group of young volunteers traveled from a nearby city, bringing supplies and helping to dig through the rubble. It's in these small acts of bravery that we see the strength of human solidarity. In a world increasingly shaped by uncertainty, the people of Yunnan remind us of something important. While nature may be unpredictable and powerful, so too is the human spirit. Final thoughts. As we continue to follow the story unfolding in Yunnan province, let's not look away. Let's learn from it, empathize with those affected, and think critically about how we prepare for the disasters of tomorrow, both near and far. What do you think about the growing threat of climate-driven disasters like this? Have you witnessed anything similar in your region? Let's start a conversation in the comments. And if you're interested in more deep dives into the world's environmental challenges and how communities are responding, be sure to explore my other videos. Together, we can raise awareness and inspire meaningful change.